Hey, what's up guys? Let's talk about The Breadwinner. So this is an animated drama film directed by Nora Twomey, who co-directed The Secret of Kells, brought to you by the same studio. Another one that might ring the bell is Song of the Sea. Both were well received, and this one is actually executively produced by Angelina Jolie. It apparently had a wide release back in November, however I was actually under the impression that it was only ever limited, and I'm a bit surprised seeing as there aren't a lot of people I know who have seen this film. And believe me, I tried my best to watch it as soon as it came out. It was a bit too far for me. It was about maybe 30 miles outside where I'm from, and that's just too much of a trek. Luckily, it's now on Netflix, and on March 6th, it will be available on Blu-ray, DVD, as well as digital. The film premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival back in September, and is nominated for Best Animated Feature Film this year at the 90th Oscars. So this film is about a young girl named Parvana who lives in a Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. After her father is arrested for reasons I won't spoil, she ends up having to disguise herself as a boy to be the sole caretaker for food for her family, as her mother, sister, and very young brother aren't able to. First off, without question, the animation is gorgeous. It has a very calming effect and feel to it. I really enjoy the color tones, and I want to say right now it's my #1 film from this studio. The voice acting is absolutely terrific, and I really appreciate that it's not done by any voice actor that we actually know in this case, because sometimes that can be a little bit distracting if you all of a sudden hear a voice that sounds very familiar. Kind of takes you out of the film sometimes. I appreciated that didn't happen here. The story is very interesting and intriguing. I really like when it transitions to moments where you hear Parvana telling her little brother or talking about the story of the Elephant King. Animation tends to change a little bit here and there, which I really enjoy. While the animation is aesthetically pleasing, keep in mind this is definitely not a kid's film. I would probably not show this to anyone under the age of 11 or so. It definitely has a few moments here and there that will surprise you how far it goes in some of the violence and other themes that adults are more likely to catch on to. It's a very powerful tale that has a lot of emotional resonance to it, which made the film work really well overall. I would say this is the most overlooked film in this year's Oscar nominations. There are not a lot of people out there that have seen this film, unfortunately. Now let's actually get into the Oscars a little bit, because if you've seen this year's nominations, the 5 films in the animated feature category, it's pretty weak. Don't get me wrong, there are at least 3 films here that I think are absolutely great to include. Coco is obviously the front runner, and really there is no debate. It is going to win the Oscar this year. Loving Vincent I've heard is very good as well, and I would say that one definitely deserves to be here. However, The Boss Baby and Ferdinand, those 2 are pretty disappointing. If I were to switch things up just a little bit, well, let's see, let's just take out Coco for now, because we know that's a great film, and I would definitely take out the last 2. Now here are at least 3 other films that I think would be a good substitute for some of them. I would say Paddington 2 is one of, if not the best, of these 5 that I've enjoyed this year so far, and it is a bit of a hybrid, so some people might not agree with that. I've heard the Lego Batman movie is really good as well, definitely hoping to see that one soon. Mary and the Witch's Flower is definitely a personal choice. I was pretty disappointed to not see a single Japanese animated film featured on here. So my final picks would probably come down to this for the purest animation's sake. Also, for those of you who are curious what I thought about this year's animated shorts, my favorite would have to be Revolting Rhymes Part 1, and then it would have to be Pixar's Lou. After that, it kind of mixes between Dear Basketball and Negative Space, and lastly, the film Garden Party. Going back to this film, however, it is definitely a very moving and special film that deserves way more recognition than it's getting. For those of you who haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking it out. As I said, it's on Netflix. The Oscars are tomorrow, so it's perfect timing. Even though this one's pretty clear cut and is most likely going to Coco, don't skip out on this film. The Breadwinner earns its Oscar nod by being the most overlooked nomination this year, deserving more attention for its powerfully endearing story and terrific animation. And that's why this film is a diligent pick. So guys, I've been a little under the weather this week. I hope it wasn't too noticeable. And the weather itself has actually been pretty bad. It's raining quite a lot here. I hope that wasn't too distracting. For those of you who have seen The Breadwinner, how does it compare to the rest of the nominations in this category? Do you feel like it deserves more recognition than it's getting? This year I made picks for 21 of the 24 Oscar categories, and I try to include every single film that I saw this year, so therefore you'll see at least 20 different picks there. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the overall nominations this year as well. If you want to share those below, I would love to see them. My name is Dylan, and if you love entertainment, subscribe to my channel while this video ends, and send me a thumbs up before you go. Thanks for watching, and stay diligent.